Hello. Paper towels. There you are. Hello. And welcome to Beginning Brushstrokes. My name is Aaron, and let me just adjust this a little bit. And welcome to the show. Before I get started, I've got a little time. I've been working on this little Naga lady, evil mermaid lady. Let me see if I can get her a little bit better into focus. And I'm just going to, before I go into the main project for the evening, I just want to get her hair done. So I'm going to take some bright green and kind of just play around a little bit. And I'm trying to, I don't know if it'll show up, but I'm trying to learn how to kind of go from a dark color here at the base of her spine with the wings to more of a bright blue. And it'll take me a little bit more. I gotta smooth it out just a little bit more, but it's getting there. Considering it's the first time I've really tried anything like that. Make sure that's still showing up. Dip it in my water. Where'd my other paper towel go? And just proper brush technique that I've learned is when you dry a paintbrush, you just put it flat against the table, and just pull back in a little twist. Helps keep your bristles from getting damaged. I learned that. Unfortunately, I learned that the hard way. Yeah, my original brushes aren't in the best shape. These are really, really thin paper towels too. Let's just put you there so that way we have you. Let that dry. What color am I going to make your bracelets? Let's take a look. Do I want kind of a goldish yellow? bright yellow mixed with a little... You know what? Let's take a little bit of this candlelight yellow. Just zoom over to my palette. And mix it with just a little dragon bronze. There we go. Give it kind of like a kind of goldish bronze color. So we're going to mix these two and see what we get. It's always an experiment. That's part of the fun. Break out my handy dandy paint stir stick and see what happens. Yeah, that turned out into a nice golden bronze instead of just a kind of a dirty bronze, which is... Actually, I think I'm going to paint the trident now too. That's kind of a nice little goldish color. Wash that off in my other water because you don't want to mix your metallic paints with your non-metallic paints when you rinse your brushes. That can lead to little specks of glitter and metal that the metallics have in your non-metallic paints, and it just makes it look a little inky. There we go. Make sure that on the camera. Let me just apply just a little bit. Not a lot, just a little. There we go. See, there's nothing. Nothing to it. Anyone can be a painter. I know you're probably thinking, that's not true, but it is. Anyone can do this, because I'll be honest, if I can do this, anyone can. And I want to thank you all for taking the time out of your busy day and schedules and just spending some time with me. Feel free to drop me a message in the chat box. Let's see here. We're just going to do this trident real quick. There we go. Just let the paint work for us. If you're new to the show, I just want to say welcome. I've only been doing this about the beginning of the month. So I don't have a whole lot of experience, but I find painting is a good stress reliever. And she's got this little like scallop seashell. I'm wondering what color I want to make that. Maybe like a ruby red or a I don't know. But ooh, let's see if I can zoom in a little bit more on that, because her hair is just about dry, and boy, does that set off a nice contrast between the bright blue of her face and the yeah, we definitely want to get the colors up a bit. There we go, there we go. Now it looks a little bit better. Had to do a little camera adjustment there. And just give her another coat. I find that it tends to take about 2 coats of a color to really bring an even color base. Otherwise it gets kind of splotchy and icky. Now that said, on this kind of like sea hag character, maybe you want to go for the splotchy look. You know, just one coat. It actually gives you a whole bunch of neat little shades and tones. It gives you like a bright green against this these little flecks of white and darker highlights from where the paint's just riding up on the ridges of her hair. There's a lot you can do just to have a little fun with it. And there's no right way or wrong way to paint. And as the night goes on, I'll talk a little bit more about what I do and how anybody can do it, because like I said, if I can do this, anyone can. It's not hard. Dry my brush. Okay, now we're gonna put her away, because she was just kind of my, well, actually, since I've got the nice bronze here, I want to use that up before it dries. I hadn't planned on working on you. I was just kind of killing time while I was waiting to start the stream at 7, because we've got a fun little project on the. Ooh, that yellow really made that look nice. If the camera is out of focus, if I need to zoom in a little bit more, let me. If the audio sounds wonky, let me know so I can fix that. And one thing I learned with painting miniatures, don't be afraid of mistakes. There's nothing you can do that you can't paint over. It may take a few more coats than you originally planned, but there's nothing you can do that you can't paint over. Just want to get these hard edges again real quick. Okay. So this is only my really second main stream, so I know it's kind of bare bones. I mean, I don't have an overlay on the screen. I'm working on building it, so there's not this big black empty space. I don't like empty space. I like using all available space, so we're going to be using that green later, but it'll probably dry, so that's no big deal. Let's just put that palette away and get my fresh tray. Where did I put that? There you are. And anything can be a palette. It can be a plastic bottle lid, it can be a piece of cardboard. I've seen people use cupcake, disposable plastic, cupcake tins. Anything and everything can be a. Let me just turn down the light a little. There we go. See how that looks. little better, a little better. It's more of a clear light. So we'll just put you away and we'll go to the main star of tonight. His name is Tork the Orc. He's a little funny guy. I've been trying to come up with a backstory with him the whole day, and I'll come up with something for him. So I've got him attached to just this is a little thing called a hobby holder I found online for about $10, and it just has these little bottle caps that you just take some, sticky tack, poster tack, and it just holds the figure nice, and you can spin them around so you can get to all the nooks and crannies and widgets. Oh yes, yeah. I worked a bit on figuring out how to bring things into focus. It took a bit, but I did. I won't tell you how long I've spent trying to redo this whole thing. Okay, let's see here. That's going to be for shading. That's going to be my highlight color. And that's going to be my base color. Okay. So what we're going to do is first we're going to paint the orc this nice green, Naga green. Part of the fun of this whole thing is all the names they come up with the model paints. Since there's a lot, we'll just take another drop. And then we just take a paper towel and just wipe off the excess. It's good to see you again, Kaida. If there's anything you need, just let me know. And if you're wondering why I'm not using your actual name, I don't know who else viewing this, so Now I did pre-prime this guy with a gray primer, so hopefully I won't need as many base coats as I needed. Because I've done a few orcs and they tend to take quite a bit of paint. Doobie doobie. Oh yeah, this makes it so much easier. Just spin it around to where I need, just work in small little sections. This is just a base coat. I'm not afraid to get paint where it's not supposed to be. I mean, I got some on his little fur jacket here, but that's not a big deal. And then just top of his head. And we'll let that dry. Now we do his arms. He's mostly a clothed orc. Some of my orcs have been, just bare-chested, Conan the Barbarian-esque. But yeah. Oh, that's a shoulder plate. I need to keep an eye on that. I was like, why does his arm look funky? It's a shoulder plate. Yeah, right there's this shoulder plate actually goes over the bicep. So I was like, oh, okay, that's a little different. Oh, he's got a matching one on this side too, so. Not all as much green on this guy as I thought there would be. This guy has very well-defined fingers. That's good. Sometimes I get minis and it's hard to tell where their hands are and the weapons they're holding are. Give the brush a little rinse. And then you just bring it back, and just wipe it back, give it a little twist, and you get your brush to a nice sharp point. And that's what we want, that sharp point, because that gives us almost pencil-like control. And in your first pass, if you think you miss a spot, don't worry about it. Just go back and do it again. So, as he's drying, you can see these little splotches here on the face, here and here. Yeah, he's going to need a second coat, and you can see here on the arm the light versus the dark. Yeah, he's going to need a second coat. So, rinse off the brush. While that dries, let's find something else. What do we want to paint? And how do we want to paint it? Well, I want to make these spiky bits a bright red, because that's his armor color, you know, his banner color. So let's see here what we got in the bright red department. Brilliant red, there we go. And I'm not worried about covering over the spikes with the red, because I'll dry brush those with a nice silver gray tone, and they'll pop right back up. Pop right back up. There's both primer spray and bottle. The primer I'm using, since these are Reaper minis, is a special primer. It's from Reaper specifically for their minis, because any other primer just does not stick well. So this one I got is on my other desk. But it said Reaper Brush On Primer. It comes in the 3 standard colors, white, gray, and black. I did them all in gray. My red's a little runny today. I'm not sure why. But just to let you know, Kaida, that kit you got will not come with any primer. So don't freak out. Just start painting. You'll just need a few extra coats. But one thing I learned with that is if you're just painting Reaper Mini straight out of the box without any primer, don't thin the paint. Just pour it straight out of the bottle after, giving it a good shake. Maybe that's why my red's a little runny. I forgot to shake it. And give it a good solid coat first. And what I thought was an armor piece is actually his bicep. So as you paint and get a little closer, you start seeing, oh, hey, it's not what I thought it was. And I'm a bit excited. I'm now up to 3 followers. So that's pretty cool. That makes me happy. Over 50 views, so people are checking me out. That's way more than I was expecting. So that's good. Granted, I don't know how often that is when I'm offline, so kind of looks like a Christmas ornament right now, doesn't he, with just the bright red and green? Now, if you buy it in a spray bottle, you can find them at any hobby store. Citadel makes a paint spray. That's the Warhammer guys. Army Painter does a spray. Vallejo does a spray. There are, other sprays you can find at like your hardware store, like a Revlon or something, but in my opinion, they just don't work nearly as well. They do the job, but they tend to really cover over detail work. Yep, I have discovered what happens when you don't shake your paint. It gets all watery and runny. So we learned something tonight. Hello, welcome to the show. This is Tork the Orc. Rolo. Tork the Orc. Do 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 do. Well, I'm gonna go get some fresh water. I will be right back. Hold on just a second. Sorry about that. Oh dear. We're just spilling water all over the place. But, yeah, you do want to change your water pretty frequently just to keep the rinsed out pigments from corrupting your colors. And always have a roll of paper towels handy. Alright, I'm gonna reshake this red and put it in another well. Give it a good. Now, here's my little work table. Like, ooh, where were you the night of January 15th? Just the facts, ma'am, just the facts. I'm going to have to get some thicker towels like those, like work towels that they use in garages and stuff, because these little cheap dollar store paper towels just are a little too thin. So the red's still pretty wet, and the green's drying. So let's move on to like this area here. So it's kind of it's a fur. So I think what I'll do is I'll go with like a deep dark brown as a base, and then we'll gradually lighten it up as to kind of give it the impression as the hairs are growing, growing out. They're getting lighter and lighter. There's little patches of gray and stuff. We can have some fun with that. Put the brush up so it doesn't roll off the table. So I'm going to use this here, dark highlights. How's the audio, by the way? I haven't heard good or bad. I've heard good on the video, but not on the audio. Because if I don't hear anything, I assume it's all working. You know what? I have an idea. Let's take that dark brown I just used, and I want to add just a hint of this blood red. Give it a little reddish brown tinge. Let's see what happens. Yeah. You know, we're just talking about Tork. Shut your mouth. Who's the green orc who never seems to get a job? Tork. Can you dig it? Okay, it's kind of like a maroony color. I like that. I'm going to add one more drop of the dark highlight. See if we can't, because it got just a little too red. That's better. That's darkening it up a little bit more. Yeah, when you tint, it doesn't take a whole lot to completely change something. Had so much fun mixing the color, I forgot what I was supposed to be painting. Let me just bring that up to the camera a little bit more. He's got this nice belt that I'll just make a nice solid black so it shows up against the fur. And always remember, whatever color you make, the paint will always dry darker than what it looks like wet. So if you think, oh, it's going to be too bright, or, you know, I need it really, really, really dark, just be careful. You can get it too dark, because paint always dries darker than wet. So the way I think of it is like, there's the old adage for you know, measure twice, cut once. For me, it's think twice, tint once. Just get this nice little, like, I don't know what you would call this, a skirt, I don't really do the undersides too much. They're just big, non-detailed lumps of plastic. I just give them a coat of the color that, you know, I think would be hidden under there, and just kind of leave it alone. Just make it make it sure it looks solid, but I don't go into any detail or anything. I'm sure people do. Okay, let's go back to the, while that brown dries, let's go back to the green. And I can see that's starting to dry out, so we'll have to add some more. One of these days in the next few days will be payday, and the first thing I'm doing is going to the grocery store and buying a roll of parchment paper and a little Tupperware container at the dollar store. And I'm going to make what's called a wet palette, because what you do is you take about 3 or 4 paper towels folded up really tight, get them nice and damp, not dripping, not moist, but damp, and then you put those at the base of the Tupperware container, and then you put a sheet of parchment paper over it, and it makes what's called a wet palette, which helps keep your paints from drying out on the palette. Also, a lot of people use them they'll put some paint like on one side of the palette and another color here at the other end, and just kind of blend the two, you know, bring the two together and kind of make a mix, and then you have a bunch of color values to play around with for shading and lighting. I haven't tried that yet. I'm still doing good at the let's not, you know, wreck the figure too badly. Hey, I'm up to 3 viewers. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for choosing to stick around. I appreciate it. That means a lot. Because that's 2 more than I was expecting. Alright, we're going to need to add some, whoops. Need to add some more green to my palette. Bloop. See, I can't tell if that's his tricep, elbow, or not. You know what? I think it is. I think it is. If not, it is now. We're making an executive decision. And the brush I'm using is just a number 0 round brush. I think this is pretty much going to be my standard go-to brush. Okay, looks like the red's just about ready to get its better coat. I got don't remember where the camera is. I mean, it's awfully nice of Twitch to let us do stuff like this on their platform instead of, just playing video games. Because, believe me, if you watch me playing a video game, at points it'd be rather amusing. Especially during the freakouts. Oh, come on! He's got like this leather band strap in between with the green, so I'm going to paint that brown first, and then come back over and paint that over with the greens to make it a little easier. When they call it color brilliant red, they weren't kidding. I hope everyone's having a good night. Things are going well. Just get all the paint off. And now let's go back to the fur. So, things going on in popular geek culture right now. It's official that Disney is buying 20th Century Fox. So, that means all the Marvel properties and film rights are now all back under one roof. With the exception, actually, I think of the Incredible Hulk, believe it or not. Because Universal is still holding on to that. But really, I think it's just a matter of time for they come to Disney with an offer. That's why we haven't seen an Incredible Hulk 2 or any of the Incredible Hulk characters in the Marvel movies since the original Incredible Hulk movie. Because people are. I've been wondering, what happened to Betty? What happened to Talbot, aka what happened to Doc Samson? Then we were going to get the leader. just all sorts of little things that just never happened. Got like this pelt thing right here. You know what? This was Tork's best friend, Bork. And he lost him to a raiding party of invading orcs. So he now wears his skin in every battle he dedicates to Bork. And that's part of the fun is with these little guys is because I don't play Dungeons and Dragons, but I like coming up with stories. And I hope as the show goes on, we get more and more stories because I kind of want to make a whole like little universe. And don't be afraid to yell at me in chat when I forget to move when I've got the mini too far off the camera. I know that sounds like a broken record, but I don't want to waste your time by having you just stare at a little paint palette, you know. You're spending your time with me, and I want to make sure you get a full enjoyment out of it. Just want to get these little furs thingies. There we go. See, doesn't he already look 100 times better than just black gray? Oh, and see, I got some paint right here on the ferrule. That's bad. I need to get that off ASAP. There we go. So I'm going to be right back. I'm going to go clean my water out again and clean out my brush real quick. Be back in about 3 minutes. Also, I need to get some water. And I'm just going to set my water on my other tray so I don't mix it up with my paint cup. That would be bad. Okay, and also this is that cleaning stuff I was mentioning to you the other night, Kaida. Master's Brush Cleaner and Preserver. It's real easy to use. This can cost me about $5, but I've been using it a month, and really I just scratched the surface, so this lasts forever. What you do is I just at the sink have some some warm water running. I take my brush. You just swirl it around in the stuff for it gets a nice little foam lather. Then I just wipe it, rub it against my hand so it has something to work against, and you just rinse it. Real easy. And then you just do it a few times to get all the stuff off. When the lather is white or clear, it's done, and then you just give it another lather, shape the bristles as a point, let it dry, and believe it or not, that stuff actually helps preserve it. It keeps it looking nice. So that's that. Alright, let's give... Yeah, he's still a little splotchy, so we'll give him another base coat. Make sure I get up under the chin. Unless I want to give him, some whiskers. That's always a possibility. Oh. There's always one or two spots I always miss, like under the hands or something. And also, a good tip when you go to rinse a brush, don't go any further than that in the water. You don't want the water to get up here past the Fresnel, because then it actually goes in, and as it dries, it weakens the glue holding all the bristles together. So you just want to go about halfway up the metal part. Okay, there we go. Now for the armor, for the chainmail. Wow, for a color called walnut brown, it sure looks a lot blacker to me. I kind of want to go for like a rusty color. So, first off, let's go for a gray. We'll use our blade steel as the base coat. Then I have an idea for the for the dry brushing. Oh, hello! Hello, welcome! Welcome! I now have 5 viewers. Thank you. Thank you for stopping by. We're painting Tork the Orc. We're just doing the base coat right now. And now we're going to do some of his belts and stuff with a nice leather brown. He's got a nice little pouch here, holding all his medicine chests and whatnot. I'm not sure what this little doodad is here on the back, but it could, but I mean, maybe a bedroll, but it's kind of small for that. I'm gonna give it a solid base coat. Then I'm gonna come over and give this a slightly darker tint on this like little fold flap. Give it a little contrast. Now poor Tork, he's not a very wealthy orc. He can only afford the basic stuff, so his swords are just, you know, leather handles and base steel, you know, not fancy, not not the finest you can buy or the strongest, but they get the job done. And you definitely want to have a good light source. He said as he's painting half of it in shadow. So what else is going on in Geek World today? Well, let's see here. Castlevania Season 2 on Netflix is coming out, and just in time for Halloween, so that's good. I like the first season, even though I tend to call it a movie than a season, because a season is more than 4 half-hour episodes. And I wanted a little darker brown for his boots. Oops. Okay, when you see that, that's not good. So if that restricts the flow of paint, you just take a needle and it'll unclear the clog. Painting is thirsty work. There we go. Sometimes you just gotta find the right angle to get the paint to go where you want it to go. And if you ever want to try mini painting, don't worry. There's no right way or wrong way to paint something. I mean, I've typed in just different, just the name of like this model, mini, just in Google, and I've seen 15 different paint jobs. No two are alike. So there's no right way to paint them, no wrong way to paint them. I actually thought about making him a yellow orc, but I just paint these wristbands a little. See, I thought for sure I cleaned up your mold lines, but I guess I must have missed them. Again, just down and back with a little twist, just to get that nice point. One of my biggest surprises of 2018 was the Cobra Kai series on Netflix. YouTube. that was a big surprise, but I love that show. It's the only reason I actually subscribed to that YouTube Premium. I just binged it all in one night. It was that good. Now for the blades, for the hard straight edge, you just take your brush perpendicular and you just run it along the side. And it gets just the right paint off, just like, kind of like you're spreading butter on toast. Toast. That's true. That is true. But his daughter sure did. And come on, don't tell me you didn't cry at the Mr. Miyagi tombstone. I wish I knew what my neighbor is doing. Okay. Just a few little spots that need just a little bit of work. Oops. Oh, come on. Not even... It's Mr. Miyagi. Between him and Mako. Hello. Welcome to the show. We are painting Tork the orc. Just want to do a little cleanup here. Oh, I wish. Yeah. Someone's getting a nice bonus this week, and I guarantee you it's not us. I don't know, buddy. All I know is payroll is 4 times this week than what it normally is. Let's see here. That was a 4-to-1 of dark to bright. Oh, I plan to. Yeah. Now, end of a quarter's next month. Also, here's another tip. Have a little notebook that when you find a color you like, you remember how you mixed it, so you can remember when you need to do touch-up work. Yeah, it's probably time for a third airplane. But we're not here to talk about him. That's why I'm painting. Just doing some touch-ups on. No comment. You know what? I'm just going to make that braided leather. I'm going to take some of the dark brown and use it on this little flappy doohickey. Just to give it a little contrast. Plus, I don't want to waste a good many. Even goblins deserve better names. Now, if you really want to get a good D&D show that's not Critical Role, check out The Unexpectables. It's from some of the guys who are in Team 4-Star, and it's a hoot. Kind of actually why I wanted to start playing D&D, to be honest. Okay. It's going to take a few more minutes for him to dry. And then we'll get into some detailing. So while that dries, I'm going to go get some fresh water. Be right back. Wow. That's a lot better than it used to be. Okay, so now we're on the detailing. And I'm going to need my spectacles, because we're going to be doing really fine work. Let's go with our 1.5. And this brush we'll be using is one I found at my hobby store from a company called the Army Painter Wargamer Detail Brush. So, let's see. First thing we're going to do is we're going to give him a face. He's got a bit of a face, but not. It's still kind of, just a blob of green. So let's give him just a little bit of a better detail. So we'll zoom in a little bit more. And give him a face that a mother orc would be proud of. So to do that, we take dragon white, give it a good shake. Just a little dab will do ya. And actually, for the eyes, I'm going to go to an even finer brush, a 000 round brush. I mean, if you can see if I can just see the point on that. there, and then we'll just compare it to the brush we've been using the whole time. You can tell it's a lot lot different. Just want to get just the tiniest bit of paint on the tip. Just put a little dot there. A little dot there. And don't worry if you get too much. That's okay. Now we just let that dry. So while that's drying, I'm going to go back to this what was it? Walnut brown. Where did I put you? And I'm just going to go along some of these bands here. I'm going to have to raise up the camera a bit. Because I need some better control, so we'll have to look at this camera. Turn my light so I can see. And I'll show in just a second what I'm doing. Just making little streaks in the light tan. And then when that'll dry, I'll just cover it over to kind of separate a little bit. And I'm going to take that and just go over this line on the baggie just to give it a little detail. A little separation. And if I don't like it, I can just paint over it when it's dry. Oops. Readjust things a little bit. And this, I did some research on the forums, and this is the color that everyone recommended for lining things out. So things looked a little bit more separated and natural. Okay, the white's just about dry. Just a little longer. So now what we'll do is take that. We'll just go in these grooves here. And you don't have to have steadiest hands in the world. That's okay. Nothing in nature's perfect, so. It's okay. I don't know why they call this brown though. It's definitely more of a black. Okay, so now that the white looks just about done, what we'll do is we'll take our mini, take our brush, and look for just the right spot to where he's looking. And just put a little line there. Now, since his head's tilted like this, we kind of want another eye to look not straight dead center, but a little to the right. Okay, now as you're looking at him, you're like, whoa, he is bug-eyed. That's okay. We're gonna fix that. Once he's dry, we'll fix that. So not a problem. Nothing to worry about. See, just a little bit of paint, and we have some definition. And you know, I really don't like this little, so I'm just going to shorten that up a little bit. And voila, see? See what a little paint can do to cover if you don't like something? And you can literally spend hours just on the fine detail work. In fact, that's what most people do in the painting minis spend their time on, is all the detail. But we've only got about a half hour left, so that'll probably be for next stream. Well, he's going to be on the back burner for a bit because we've got Hot Elf Punk. Alright, so now that we got his eyes, you know, they're kind of bugged out. So what we do is we just take our green and we shape the eye a little bit. I'm gonna have to see, if you put both elbows on the table, it gives you better wrist control. Unfortunately, I can't show it on the camera, but it gives you better wrist control, so that way you can draw and take a lot of that white out. And if you mess up, that's okay. Just paint. You can just wait for it to completely dry. And just make another dab of white and start over. No big deal. No big deal at all. Let's see. Now he looks a little bit more ferocious than bug-eyed. And sometimes, you know, you're like, well, it just doesn't, still doesn't look right no matter what I do. But then you do just one brush stroke, just one stroke in the right spot, completely by accident, and suddenly the whole miniature changes. And you're like, that's what I needed. Oops. Got a little paint where it shouldn't be. Fortunately, it's mostly water, so we'll just take a dry brush. And wick it off. I want just a little bit more green. Just one spot. There we go. Okay. Now, let's do some lighting and shading. So, I've got this cat's eye green. It's brand new. It looks a bit lighter toned than my Naga green, so I'm going to try it out. Oops, I'm off screen. So now we're going to take this and we're just going to look at, I'm going to look at and see where the light would be. So just kind of like there. Around that muscle a little bit. Ridge. Because I want to see if I can detail this guy without breaking out the talent in a can. Tops of the knuckles. I am way off camera. I'm sorry. Move my light a little bit. Probably right around the top of this bicep. Notice I'm not using a lot of paint. I'm just kind of brushing over the edges. Seeing where the light's hitting it. So we'll see what that looks like when it's top of this bicep. Cross that thumb there. Cross there. Not a whole lot of paint. Now for the shadow, I have this muddy olive. I'm going to give that a good shake. And now, this would definitely be like here in the biceps, where all the muscle groups come together. Here at the base of the elbow. And if you go too far, just go over it with your base coat. Like, see here, I went too far on the hand right here. I'll just go over that with the regular green. I'm hoping that when the cat's eye dries, yeah, it's definitely a lighter green. So we'll see what happens when the olive dries. I have tempted to do a Popeye reference. And then you want the olive in between the knuckles. So hopefully that turns out okay. If not, I'll just paint over him with the base coat, and we'll break out the talent in a can. But I think that'll be for next time. Which will probably be a while for this before we get back to Tork the Orc, because tomorrow is my XCOM stream. I know I said it was my Elf Girl. I mixed up the schedule dates. Tuesday will be XCOM day, and Friday will be Brushstrokes. So on Friday, we'll be painting her. And just as a fair warning, we are going to go very, very 80s with her. I'm looking forward to it. Because she's kind of got like this half scalp hairdo. We're going full on punk. So she's she's been primed and prepped, ready to go for a while. So I'm looking forward to that on Friday. So here's Tork. The highlight color works pretty well. I think I'm gonna blend it a little bit with the regular green to try to tone down the contrast a little. But I do like this walnut brown as a liner. That you definitely are seeing like here on the sword handle, the bag, some more definition. And then we'll also eventually dry brush this because I want to get I want to go over this with dragon blood. Actually, you know what? I'll take all of 5 minutes. Let's just do it. Because I want to see if it pulls out, if I can pull off a rusty look. So I'm going to use dragon blood, which is actually pretty much the color I made using the dark highlights in red. Huh. Yeah, I mean, here's the dragon blood, and here's what I mixed. Almost identical. Alright, so we'll take a little paint, do some crisscrosses to get just about all the paint off. Very, very little paint. And then just brush it over the silver. It's getting a nice little red hue, which is good. That's what I want. I want it to look sort of rusted, but not completely wrecked. And one day I'll learn where to put the camera, so I stop taking my hand. Okay, that's good. I like that. We haven't lost all the shiny. That's not my goal. I don't want to lose some of the shiny. Just a little. Okay. Now I want to take, let's take one of my, also another reason why I'm waiting till Friday to paint her, payday. I got some color ideas I need to pick up. I only have a couple shades of purple. I need more. Because she's going to be purple and rose. I mean, I'm not doing neon green, but I'm getting as close to neon as I can in a quote-unquote fantasy setting. So I want to take that orange, mix it with a little brown to kind of spin me right round, baby, right, like a record, baby, right round, round, round. Just to kind of dull it a little. Ooh, that looks like a nice rust color, doesn't it? Now the dragon blood isn't completely dry, so it's mixing a little, which is what we want. We want the colors to kind of blend together, to kind of meld. There we go. We still have hints of the silver, but now it looks, you know, a little rusted. It's been through some stuff. And with that, I'm going to call Tork, the York, finito for this visit. And I can't wait. I'm going to put this out there. Someone give me a name for her. Think about it and let me know on Friday. So, thank you all for joining me. If you like the show, hit the follow button, the like button, tell your friends. It helps grow the show, it helps me out. The more people who watch the show, I guess eventually if I hit certain milestones, I start getting a little tip jar. Cool. I'm not in this for the money. I'm just in it to share what I'm learning and hopefully find some people who can offer me some tips and tricks and tell me, hey, dummy, this isn't how you're doing it. You're supposed to do it like this. And, man, I think next time I may go with, I think I may give him a little bit of a bath with my washes just to, yeah. I'm just comparing. This was with a wash. This one was without. So I think we're still going to wash for the foreseeable future until I learn how to do undertones and overtones, or have the collection which lets me do that. Because there are in painting, there's what they call the triad system, where there's a base coat, a highlight coat, and a shadow coat, and you know, they're just straight down the line, and that's what you use, and it all blends together so it all looks nice. That's a lot of colors. I don't have that much money yet. So, you're gonna give me the information? I'm not gonna give you the information. What do you say? You're not gonna give me the information. Oh, Tim Conway, I miss you. Thanks for joining me, my friends. I hope to see you tomorrow for XCOM. Hopefully the world survives. No promises. I'll see you tomorrow night, but if you want to see me paint, that'll be on Friday. And Fridays at 7 p.m. Take care now.